Alright, we are going to a emergency on the water. This specifically is up by Polito. And one of the agencies that has access to a boat is the San Andreas DNR. So we're going to be responding to that. And it's up by Polito. But since we have access to a boat, we're going to be spawning in the small boat. I'm also going to get in the water so it spawns in properly. Wait for it to spawn in. There we go. And we're going to throw on the livery, which is the DNR's boat, and go. I don't see any reason to have a siren on right now. So it's up by the Polito coast. So we're probably gonna take the rapids in Lagos and Kuta would take too long as it's a boat on fire. So we're going to probably take the Polito, the rapids here, so. So if I'm not mistaken, let's make sure we're going the right way here before we do this. Yep. So, this is going to be the fun part, a waterfall. Whee! And since we're a much more smaller dinghy-like boat that handles fishing complaints and stuff, we can handle the more rapid terrain a lot more effectively. We're going to be trying to take these rapids a bit slow. So we want to get there alive and not beat yourself. I was originally going to show up as BCSO, but since they don't have a boat unit, or at least a deployable one from near Polito, I figured another entity would be more efficient. So, where are they gonna turn now? Careful of the rapids. So it did say a boat on fire, which means possibly in the water, but this is the relative area where this is transpiring, so let's see. I don't see any boat. I don't see any boat. This is where the call is. There is this ship over here, but it doesn't look like it's literally on fire. Yeah, it looks like everything on that is good. Oop, that's a big rock. I'm not seeing anything in the vicinity of this call. I think we're gonna go ashore and double check around the shoreline. Oops, not vehicle cog mode. There. And we'll turn off these lights. Get off the boat here and take a look around. Could have been a false alarm. Someone could have... The boat could have sunk, which is a very good thing, but then at that point... we'll probably use a dive team to investigate that, which NOAA has an office and a dive team nearby that can look into that. But I'm not seeing anything on the surface, which could mean a false call, and then we'll contact NOAA to send a dive team out to look into the incident. So we're gonna call it as a false call.
Your unit has been released from its duty in the previous call out.
Say that the NOAA will handle it, and then I will go back to my dock in Sandy to get my truck back, and we'll go from there. But there's only certain entities to kind of checks and balances of it that have access to a boat. The big two that have access to the most powerful boats in operations, besides the fire department, would be the U.S. Coast Guard and the NOAA. The second is obviously Game Warden has a light dinghy, and so does Port Authority. But again, they only do relative stops, so they're not going to be in heavy ocean water. So most of that's done by the Coast Guard and other services. With the Sheriff, LSPD as a whole, and others, I mean, I guess they could bring out unmarked boats, but they rarely do have those. The Sheriff especially has not necessarily a need for it. So a lot of times the sea-bearing entities are going to be NOAA and the Coast Guard that will send out services. The fire department does have a boat. The entities that have helicopters is LSPD and the state police, and the National Park Service and National Forest Service has a joint helicopter. But the entities that don't have all those resources are there. And the reason they have the reason the Game Warden especially has a boat is since they handle fishing complaints as well. They have a light dinghy for the more calmer shores that they have jurisdiction in, such as Lago Zancudo. Which Lago Zancudo is a state property of a wildlife preserve going off of the signs, when some of the other property is national park. The canyon that we just drove through getting to the call was actually National Forest Service property, but we'd have to go through that to get there. So, yeah, it's a bit more lighter in the water here, but that's why they have a lighter boat. The larger boats would not do nearly as well in the lighter waters of the swampiness of this area. Another entity with light boats would be Border Patrol, but they don't have marked boats. So we're gonna fight the current a little bit, but
a new emergency call came in. Are any units available to respond?
Marijuana.
You've been assigned to the most recent emergency call. Proceed to the location.
I will proceed once I get back to my truck. So this call is person doing weed, which is not really a big deal. Not necessarily a game warden call, but I feel like we could probably take it and handle it to not tie up another officer of a different agency that could be utilized somewhere else. Due to that, it's not really an emergency, to say the least. Depending on where they're doing it, is depending on how illegal it is. If they're doing it on federal property, oof, don't beach it. Then it would become a dilemma that we would need to cover. If they're not doing it on federal property, it's not really our problem. So we're coming up back in the sandy area. We're gonna take a turn. I could have gone straight, but we'll take a slight turn. Go back to the marina, recover our truck, head out to this next call. Game Warden's a very flowing department where they'll go the call, and not just deal with minor stuff. Game Warden being one of the few statewide agencies, will often go to stuff involving the city. Same with the DNR Rangers, which is simply a law enforcement element that doesn't enforce hunting or fishing laws for the property that DNR runs. Due to that, the DNR Game Wardens have some overflow, but not always. I'll just deviate it because we don't need it now. Can I get out of the water? There we go. And our truck's still there. So we're gonna see where this call is. It said Baytree Canyon. This is in Los Santos, so it is a very minor call. Not really too much to it, to be honest. So we're gonna head over there, see what's going on. We'll take that, especially since LSPD in the current climate is a little bit understaffed, as some of their command staff was under fire for how they handled an investigation, so they have been suspended. and are being investigated. So we'll take a minor call here. It isn't really an emergency. It honestly might be an intoxicated person because weed is not illegal in San Andreas. I think it's just mainly an intoxicated person. Being in Vinewood, I suppose it's probably most likely a Karen call at that point, as long as someone's not aggressive. There's no reports. It says possible community safety, but I don't really know what that means. Couple of entities that would have jurisdiction is the LSPD, Rockford Hills Police, and obviously statewide entities. Like I said, the game ward, not really their job, but we might as well just do it to assist us. We're gonna throw on the lights to get through this tunnel a little bit quicker, because this is a little bit far away. So this tunnel will get you in the Vinewood. Well, again, it's not really a high risk response, but since we have a little bit of a journey to make, I'm gonna hit the lights a little bit to try to get through all this dense traffic. Okay, we're almost out, so I don't need the lights anymore. So this is one of the projects the governor put in place to build a tunnel from Vinewood to Blaine County to assist with more community relations. So like I said, this seems like a minor disturbance call. We'll see what exactly has transpired here. Just guys doing weed. I'm probably just gonna tell them to knock it off, get out of here, as long as they're not causing any other major issues.
Well, you're gonna have to make it up to me big time.
Hey.
Can I have your ID, please?
Just gonna have your ID real quick. See if there's anything that's on it. Nothing really of interest. Alright, buddy. I'm just gonna issue you a warning.
Consider this a warning.
Hey, my love. Did you call earlier?
And you are good to go.
You may go now.
Do whatever you want, honey.
Same with you.
Let's go down to the lake.
ID.
Please show me your identification card.
Okay.
Fuck you, putito.
Warrants for streaking. Does that mean she's wanted? I'm actually a little confused by that. Hold on.
Can I have your ID, please?
It says warrants for streaking. I don't know what that means, but like I did with him,
Consider this a warning.
you're gonna get a warning. and you're good to go.
You may go now.
I think that's all subjects involved, right? Looked like it. Yeah, a very minor call. Game Warden and the Rangers will take minor calls to help the influx of
Your unit has been
emergencies.
disengaged from the previous call-out.
I appreciate you guys tuning in, though.